Close your eyes and think of the most powerful person on Earth. A president? A king? A tech billionaire? Now, look at the reality. Power in the modern world is not measured by crowns or votes. It is measured by assets under management. There is a group of 3 firms, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, that together manage more than $20 trillion. This isn't just money in a vault. This is ownership. They are the top shareholders in nearly every major airline, every pharmaceutical giant, every social media platform, and every defense contractor. In this video, we introduce the concept of the institutional investor, the ghost that sits in every boardroom, influences every price tag, and dictates the flow of global civilization. How did they get so big? It started with a simple idea: the index fund. Instead of trying to beat the market by picking individual stocks, these firms invited the world to be the market. By pooling trillions of dollars from retirement funds, pensions, and small investors, they became the ultimate middleman. But there is a dark side to this passive investing. When you own everything, you no longer care about competition. Why should an airline lower its prices to compete with another if both airlines are owned by the same 3 firms? This chapter explores the death of competition and how passive index funds have quietly created a global monopoly. Managing $20 trillion is impossible for humans. That's why BlackRock built Aladdin. Aladdin is the world's most powerful AI system, but you won't find it on the App Store. It is a risk management oracle that monitors every asset class, every geopolitical event, and every market shift. Over 10% of the world's total financial wealth is managed through this one system. When the Federal Reserve needs to bail out the economy, they call Aladdin. When European banks are in trouble, they consult Aladdin. We are living in an algorithmic monocracy, where a single machine as calculations decide which companies live and which ones die. Who owns the owners? This is the most shocking part of the investigation. If you look at the top shareholders of BlackRock, you will find Vanguard and State Street. If you look at Vanguard, it is a private structure owned by its own funds, which are managed by BlackRock. This is circular ownership. It is a closed loop that protects these firms from outside interference. They have created a financial fortress that is immune to the laws of the free market. In this chapter, we map out the Ouroboros of finance, the snake that eats its own tail. You might think that because it's your pension money, you have the power. Wrong. When you invest in a fund, you give away your proxy voting rights. These firms use your shares to vote on corporate boards. They decide who becomes the CEO of Exxon, what policies Coca-Cola follows, and how much a bank executive gets paid. This is power without responsibility. They use the collective wealth of the masses to force their own private agendas on the world's largest corporations, effectively bypassing the democratic process of shareholders. We have seen a sudden shift in corporate culture worldwide. This isn't organic. This is the result of ESG, environmental, social, and governance scores. The shadow architects have declared that capital will be allocated based on behavior. If a company doesn't follow the social or environmental scripts written by these firms, they are starved of capital. This chapter analyzes how the financial system has been turned into a tool for social engineering. We look at the letters sent to CEOs by the heads of these firms, making it clear: comply with our vision or be liquidated. The dream of home ownership is dying. In every major city, house prices are skyrocketing while wages remain flat. Why? Because the shadow architects have entered the real estate market. They are outbidding families with all-cash offers to buy thousands of single-family homes. Their goal is a subscription-based lifestyle. They don't want you to own a house, a car, or even your software. They want you to rent everything. We examine the transition from an ownership economy to an access economy, where you are a permanent tenant in a world owned by institutional ledgers. Where does the government end and the shadow architect begin? The line has disappeared. We look at the revolving door phenomenon. High-ranking executives from these firms move directly into top positions at the Treasury, the Federal Reserve, and the White House. When they leave government, they go back to the firms. This isn't just lobbying. This is institutional capture. The regulators are the ones being regulated. This chapter tracks the names and faces that have moved between the boardrooms of Wall Street and the halls of power, ensuring that the system always works for the architects. What happens if the machine breaks? Because the global economy is now so concentrated in these three firms and their AI, Aladdin, we have created a single point of failure. If a massive cyber attack or a glitch hits their systems, the entire world stops. There is no Plan B. We have put all our global eggs in one very large, very complex basket. This chapter discusses the systemic risk of concentration and why too big to fail has now evolved into too big to exist. As we conclude this hour-long journey, the picture is clear. The world is not run by the people we see on the news. It is run by the people who manage the money of the people we see on the news. Sovereignty is no longer about borders. It is about capital. The shadow architects have built a global empire that operates above the law, above politics, and above our understanding. But awareness is the first step. The system relies on our silence and our passive participation. The question is, now that you've seen the architects, how will you choose to live in their design?